And today I really want to talk about, where we are at in the AI industry and to kind of give you a decision-making framework that will help you navigate through some of the hype. First of all, I want to start with this number, 80%. Recent research from the RAND organization showed that 80% of AI projects are failing. Now the question is, why? Why are they failing? And this rate, just to put it into perspective, is about 4x the number of typical projects that fail. So typically you got an 80% success rate with a 20% failure rate, but AI has tipped that on its head. And again, the question is why? I don't think personally it's because of stupidity or ignorance or lack of skills or lack of customer desire or any of those things. And I think the main reason why these numbers are driven this way is because of misunderstanding of the hype cycle. And I like to, if you're not familiar with the Gartner hype cycle, I always like to start with this graph. And this graph kind of shows the hype cycle where anything will start with a technology trigger. When Steve Jobs said one more thing and introduced the iPhone, that was a technology trigger. When AI started to proliferate on the scene about 7 or 8 years ago, through a lot of the work from Google and other companies, that was a technology trigger. When ChatGPT came out, what was that, December 2022, almost 2 years ago, that was a technology trigger. And what generally happens is when the technology, like these things come out, there's a massive splash is made, and we get dragged through this curve past the thing called the peak of inflated expectations, over to this beautifully named trough of disillusionment. Now often people believe they want to avoid the trough of disillusionment based on its name. But I'm going to go against that grain and say today, no, ultimately what you want to do is to get here as quickly as possible. Because once you get into this trough of disillusionment, that's when you start to rise up, the beautifully named slope of enlightenment towards productivity. Or if you are navigating and going based on the narrative that's out there around the technology at the time of these peaks, this is where you can make bad decisions. And when the peak is in its upward slope like this, bad decisions are primarily caused by FOMO. They're primarily caused by the fear of missing out. And when the technology is in this state, generally you'll see there's a very low signal and there's a lot of noise.